Morning, Gary. This is after I've let my dough sit in the refrigerator overnight and cold proof. I retarded it overnight for about, so I put it in around 9 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock last night. It's about 12 hours, maybe 13 hours. This is sitting in a strainer filled with a flour sack towel, and I put it back in the bowl and covered it so it stays moist. The top of this dough is still very sticky, so before I turn it out, I'm going to actually take some of the last of my rice flour and really coat the heck out of it so it doesn't stick to my pan. I've taken to using a pie pan. I have a heavy-duty pie pan here. It's from like a Mrs. Smith's apple pie or something. Not a thin pie pan like you'd find under a pie crust. So I like the strength of it. It holds up better. I reuse them a lot for ingredients when I'm prepping. I use them for resting hamburgers and steaks so they don't drip all over the plate and stuff. So I'm snowing this really, really heavily. Not sure if you can see how heavy this is in the light here, but it's a pretty heavy snowstorm covering. If I can write my name in it, means I can actually guarantee it's non-stick. Again, that's the rice flour. It seems to hold up better than regular wheat flour. It's like a billion little ball bearings. So I've covered it pretty well. And this is a cold bake technique that I just learned about a week or two ago. It is super, super, super easy. You don't preheat the oven. You don't preheat the Dutch oven. And again, this is just for the sourdough, I think. It'll work the best. I don't think it'll work for your regular dough, so don't try this. Don't try this at home. So what I've got here is my pie pan. Just going to invert it, flip it, take the towel off, center it a little better, and now I have this loaf of dough that's not going to blob out everywhere. I'm going to remove the flour that was on the towel, in the bottom of the towel, when I flipped it, when I put it in here last night after I stretched it and folded it and let it bench rest and all that good stuff. I'm going to get the flour off the top because I want to score it. And I'll sweep this flour off again later after it's come out of the oven. But what I'm doing also is taking the flour and putting it in the side gutters of the pan here. So when it rises in the oven, it actually won't stick to the pan very much when it comes up over the sides. And yeah, it makes a goofy looking bottom, but you know what? I'd rather have a goofy looking bottom than a flat blob of bread. I like to have a little more height on it. Apparently the cold bake method gives you better loft for some reason. I guess it slowly generates its own steam a little better. Okay, so it's scoring time. This is my lamb. This is my razor blade on a barbecue skewer. Sorry, it can't focus. There it is. It's on a barbecue skewer. I'm going to wet the blade. I'm going to just score a crosshatch across it. I'm going to try to go nice and deep. You'll notice the dough scores really easily when it's really cold. And I've learned that you got to move quickly with this. You got to be fairly firm and assertive with your scoring. You can't baby it as you're going because you won't actually get a cut in the dough. I'm going to cut a little deeper on this one. And hopefully we'll get some kind of pretty rise. So now the hardest part of this thing is getting it into here. That's the hardest part of the whole thing right there. So I'm going to turn my oven on to 500. Load this thing up and then pull the lid off after 30 minutes and let it go for another 15 minutes. And that should be pretty much it.